Salakia, continuing. I'm starting off in the book. Like I said, I just read the scripture. This man John Hall brought out Revelations 18 and 23, and like I said, it says, "For by thy sorceries were all the nations deceived." It starts off, the Soviet Union was the first to recognize and research a very unique phenomenon among human beings called remote viewing or remote influencing. And just to elaborate on this, I remember when I was in the world, I was always off into like books. So not the main one at that time, but the greatest book ever is the scriptures, Biblios, the Bible. But at the end of the day, this remote viewing is actual like way of spiritual power. Continuing, at first, though it only existed in a handful of individuals with innate ability, it is now thought to be a capability of most human beings with appropriate training. See, and that's the carnal ability, the carnal aspect of Esau. Like, for instance, that's why he want to create exosuits, and he want to actually like put the chip in you, and actually want to, you can buy the get a gene therapy to increase your muscle mass and all this old stupid shit. You know, everybody want to be kings, but they don't want to work for it. It says in scripture that a king searches out a thing. Just because you ain't wearing a crown yet, Yahweh Shah is going to give us and set crowns upon our heads. But people want to be rewarded without putting forth no effort. That's why, if anybody's familiar with that show, Game of Thrones, you had righteous kings on there. And you had kings that wasn't worthy of the title. And when you really take the time to really, every time I think about that, it makes me think of the scriptures. Because you had righteous kings on the throne. I ain't gonna even name one. You think of it. But at the same time, you had a lot of unrighteous kings too. I'm gonna name this one though. Like when you take the time to think about like Solomon, and he had his son Rehoboam. And Rehoboam, what'd he do? He let his friends that he grew up with in youth, he made them counselors onto him. And what did he do? Through his judgment, the kingdom was split up. Jeroboam took like 10 tribes, and then you had, he was stuck with, he wasn't stuck, he was left with basically three, because the Levites, they Jeroboam, I guess, kicked them out. So they went down to the southern kingdom, and then you had Judah and Benjamin. It says remote influencing is the ability of an individual to view and interact with another individual in a remote location without physically connecting to that location. And if you've ever followed any spiritual books, like for instance, I can name a few. Like it's a book by this female named Rebecca Brown, and this must be the spirit, because I remember when I was going through my testimony, my demon that I that I ended up having children with, I was going through spiritual battle, but I didn't know too much about anything, so that was just all through the orchestration of the Most High, and Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah, or rather Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah, and she came and she was giving me information, and she believed in the scriptures, but to show you how the Most High got her blinded, she got demons on her, and long story short, she told me about that woman, and I read her book, and it's a deep book. This woman got like 4 books. Go check her out, Rebecca Brown. I think the first book in the series is called "He Came to Set the Captives Free," and she got a hell of a testimony. And long story short, in one of the books in her series, she talks about the chip way back then. But my point of bringing all that up is, basically, you got left hand energies and powers. That's what the whole point of Star Wars is. Even though it's some bullshit to it too, because it's meant to throw you off. But you had good against evil. That's why you had the Siths, the Sith Lords. You had the Jedi Knights, good versus evil. At the end of the day, because everything is a balance. All of it coming from Yahweh Ba Hashem Yahweh Shah. So, but because a false balance is an abomination. Ain't nobody all the way good, just like everybody ain't all the way wicked. I know some dudes that did some foul ass shit. You can call this nigga the devil, but he done in somebody's mind he's not the devil. That's why you got like mafiosos that actually done killed people and do all this wickedness, but then you got people that love them. And like, you really think Nipsey Hussle, why a lot of people, that was a hot topic at one point in time, show you how your fame could burn out. That's to show you how powerful the Most High is, because you got like King David, like Achilles. If you ever seen that movie, Troy, Achilles said he wanted fame so his name don't never die. Or it was, I forgot, I don't know if he said it, but that's in the movie. And you got all these people like Nipsey is eventually gonna get forgotten about. But he really did have love. He was one of them people with a unique spirit where even his enemies actually loved him. And he was all about respect. That's why I think he was a Jake. I know people was questioning it because we get carnal sometimes. I've done it. I've said, well, they Hamitic, just because they lineage go back to Ham, but they lineage don't really go back to Ham because it's all spiritual. Spiritual people, they're going to move a certain kind of way. At the end of the day, I think he was Jake. I mean, and I've seen Nipsey Hussle do some real nigga shit. It's on film. He smacked the shit out. He went to a spot, but it was all out of disrespect. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, most men don't disrespect me. I've seen men get killed over disrespect. You disrespect me, beat you up, and then the dude that got beat up come back with a gun. But I'm trying to finish this series. I'm gonna try and make all these different topics out of this book 3 lessons, because usually I tend to go longer. So without further ado, Salakia. By definition, physically connecting with world. By definition, physically connecting would include traveling to that location or connecting via any form of synthetic communication technology, and that's all like some left hand energy. It's really probably not left hand energy. It's all spiritual energy, but they using it left handed. You get what I'm saying? Like, for instance, if you go research this, this was something the government was into. I remember reading books on this. So you got people don't believe that spiritual powers and all that. What do you think all this comic book shit go into? And it's left hand energy with that too. Like the brothers in the truth, they know, through the righteous gonna get spiritual power, but on the wicked use spiritual power right now. It says remote viewing, similar to remote influencing, is the ability to see a remote location without physically traveling to that location. The Soviet Union was much more interested in remote influencing, the pure surveillance method of remote viewing. As information about Soviet research found its way outside the Iron Curtain, the United States quickly found itself pursuing similar avenues of research. And that's the spirit, because I just brought it up about how it's books written about the government, our government, well, this Edomite government that actually, Salakia, this Edomite government that's actually was doing that. And probably still, actually, it was a movie with the guy, George Clooney, and that dude that played in the last Star Wars, that played as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Not the last one, but when the remake of when Obi-Wan Kenobi was young, he played in the movie with George Clooney. The Men That Stare at Goats. That's the name of the movie. That's a spirit. The water, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah, because I couldn't think of the name of it. It's called The Men That Stare at Goats. And it was based on a book, and they made it into a movie. And they was doing experiments on remote viewing. I'm going to bring out a scripture. Salakia. Yeah, the scripture. This is the book of Isaiah 5:20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. And when they came up with the concept to do this, and that's this red Hebrew Edomite, when they came up with the concept to do this, it was all in parts for spying. They trying to keep hold of to their empire. That's why these people can actually flood the streets that they, like, that's how you know they really wicked. They'll tell you drug dealing is illegal and it's wrong and you go to jail for it. But your same government is the people that's flooding your city streets with the drugs. Why do you think they over in Iraq and shit like that? Like, why do you, I mean, they try to take them people resources. When brothers go into that, it's not just about the resources on the oil. That place is rich in resources. It's rich in opium and heroin and, you know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure opium and heroin are both derived from the same plant. You know what I mean? Like, but with that, I'm gonna stop.